Back in my early years of being a Switch player, there was this game called The Liar Princess and the Blind Prince. I was a bit curious about the game, but forgot about it over time, and finally got it earlier this year for the PS4. The ratings were a bit over the place, so I figured I'd give it a try to see if it was worth the short amount of money and time I spent. Before I officially open this narrative, I must give you a spoiler alert, that way I can avoid putting you in grave danger. Hang on to your crowns and don't fall down, or you might end up getting some nasty scars. Hey, I'm Owen the Fictionboy, and here's my review on The Liar Princess and the Blind Prince. Our game's tale begins in a scary forest where a wolf with a lovely singing voice would sing to the moon every night. A prince from a nearby kingdom would listen to the singing and give an applause every night. But one special night, instead of doing the usual clapping, the prince wanted to see the source of the singing. The wolf tried covering his eyes because she was afraid he would fear her, yet she accidentally scarred his eyes. A soldier tried to shoot down the wolf, though she got away. The prince was now blind, and for shaming his royal family, he was locked in the tower. Feeling bad for him, the wolf checked up on the prince, made a fib saying she was a princess from another kingdom, and told him about a witch who can heal his eyes. She went to see the witch herself so she could trade her singing voice for the form of a princess in order to have the prince meet the witch. The wolf can now transform into and from a princess so she can be whichever her adventure calls for. She gets the prince out of the castle and into the forest. Throughout the game, you'll be controlling the princess and escorting the prince by holding his hand and giving commands of which direction to walk. The first level is the basics, but once you begin your journey, the more you progress, the more dangerous things will get. In wolf form, you can attack enemies, fall from great heights, jump high, attack plants that spit out spiky balls, and have blocks bounce. The prince and princess aren't immune to enemies or hazards, nor can they fall so far, unless they land on mushrooms, though there are areas where the prince and the wolf need to break collapsing floors. Levels involve you stepping on buttons, bouncing on mushrooms, pulling levers, navigating seesaws, carrying blocks, lighting up lanterns, having Yeti yeet you to places you can't reach, riding on snails with small log shells, solving some brain teasers, finding keys to unlock doors that are locked, entering vortexes, and other things. Each level has 5 petals for you to collect, and as we see in the first chapter of the story, the prince said he loves flowers and read books about flowers, so some levels have a flower for you to give to the prince, and note that you can only hold flowers in princess form. You'll be going through a starting point of the forest, a field full of mushrooms, a garden riddled with puzzles, an icy labyrinth, and a fiery woodland. As the story progresses, the princess would eat white rabbit meat as a wolf, but the prince can't eat raw meat and said fire is required to cook it. The word fire made the princess scared, and when they found shelter at one point, the princess was about to eat goats that looked dead, yet the prince mistook them as humans, so the princess and prince had to feed them meat and actually cook it. The goats let the travelers stay for the night, though one of the goats chatted with the wolf, and his words made her feel worried about the prince learning the truth. Later, the crown-wearing children played a game. Don't ask what it was because they were vague about it. And when the princess lost, the prince asked her to sing. The singing came out terrible since she currently didn't have her singing voice, and the prince asked the favor to see if her voice was the one he was hearing before he lost his sight. At a flower field, the princess tried giving a flower in wolf form, yet she feared it wouldn't end well. As they crossed a bridge in a dark cave, the prince fell out of the princess's hand, and despite the pit being not too deep, she still worried that she couldn't keep him safe forever. Then they had to feed moles some flowers, and after that, they would pick more flowers, but when the prince fell again, alerting the princess to grab his hand, the moon shone bright, revealing the wolf, and the prince called her a liar when he felt the claws of the beast that blinded him. He fell, and the forest was on fire, so the wolf had to save the prince, and the witch's supplies tell the kids the witch is on a rampage. Upon reaching the witch's home, the heroes saw that the witch became a monster, so they had to defeat her to calm her down. After the witch had been beaten, the kids said they were sorry for the trouble, but the witch wouldn't forgive them so easily. That's why before healing the prince's eyes, the wolf had to sacrifice her princess form and memories with the prince so the witch could repair the forest. The wolf also wouldn't get her singing voice back. The prince apologized to the wolf for calling her a liar before her memories were gone, and on a normal night, the wolf, now an awful singer, sang to the moon, yet the prince gave her flowers, and the wolf from there on out would sing for him instead of the moon. I'll say that this was a game I mostly liked. For the pros, I really enjoyed the visuals, both in the story told in the form of a fairy tale book and the color schemes used for the levels. I found the story interesting, as the princess and prince were pretty cute along with the relationship they have in their journey. There's also a challenge for you to have the princess and prince underneath a full moon. The Switch version has in-game achievements, whereas the PS4 version has them via trophies. In terms of cons, the stages are a bit of a mixed bag, with some being alright, others are questionable, especially the hard route for Hollow Tree Hill, required for total game completion. I don't think the kids were entirely at fault for the forest burning, and let's not ignore the fact that the witch basically cursed, and also tried harming, youth. Also, short game or not, you can't replay levels after beating the game, so if you missed some challenges, expect to play the game again. The Liar Princess and the Blind Prince was a fairly decent game, but not one I'd play often or say you would absolutely need to buy, so I will give it 3 3/4 out of 5 stars. After finally playing this myself, I could see why people had stuff they admired and despised from it, yet I don't exactly regret trying it. There may not be a happy ending for everyone, yet I'm sure someone cherishes this forgotten fable with all their hearts. Still need more fiction? Then please give this video a like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications. Also comment below and follow me on Instagram for teasers and thumbnail previews of videos to come in the future. Thanks for watching, see you again soon, and good night-o!